trying to ask him?
Who are you? What's going on?
Oh my God.
What are the sites?
I'm with the Geekery.
Okay. Okay.
I'm from Brazil, from Tangerina.
Okay. Cool.
The Disney Insider.
All right.
I'm from Skewed and Reviewed.
Okay.
Comic News Insider.
Okay.
Very cool. And I'm from the Yorkes Daily.
Jeff, Adam, Jeff.
Oh yeah. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Can you guys just say your names so that when I'm transcribing I can tell the difference?
Adam F. Goldberg.
Jeff Yorkes.
Thank you.
But I do an incredible Adam imitation. And I've been switching into it like all throughout.
know.
So
You guys have known each other a long time,
Yep.
and you both have a lot of Muppet love. Jeff, you have an encyclopedic knowledge of the
Don't touch
Muppets. Yes, we know that. So I'm curious, if like in that you guys have known it so long, will you be bringing any sort of obscure characters and obscure references from way back in the day? Oh, okay.
Yes, there's a joke that is in the show that references the
oh, you're talking about the Emmett Otter reference?
yeah like Jeff got in.
See, I told you. This is what it's for.
So Jeff had this Emmett Otter reference, and I was like, no one is gonna. So I kept cutting the joke, and Jeff kept putting it back, and it was like draft after draft, and finally I was like, you know what, we're gonna shoot it. And you will say I told you so when people get the Emmett Otter reference. So Jeff goes real deep, and I'm nowhere near the super fan that Jeff is.
I try to rep for the fans.
I watch Emmett Otter every Christmas.
Totally, everyone did. And so, like, and if you could do it in a subtle way, but yeah, all throughout there are little things. I'm like, look, if we make a reference in every episode that I think the fans will like, then I think we will.
Even some of the performers were like, "What is this?"
No, actually, I think specifically the Emmett Otter one, they were big into, and it was crazy because one of our performers was on Emmett Otter. He was one of Emmett's friends, and I'm just like, wait, oh my God, this is unreal.
I was not excited. As excited as for the Emmett Otter, meeting the Emmett Otter puppeteer.
But yeah, they're all throughout.
For you guys, what makes the Electric Mayhem so endearing and basically such beloved characters, even though they've been largely on the sidelines for so many years?
I think that is part of it. Being marginalized, if you will. I guess as a kid, I was attracted to the color and the music. They're so multicolored, and yet they're one thing, and you can't see them separately. The music is amazing. If you love music, you love these guys. Their personalities are terrific, and then in terms of a show, it was just like, we really can do anything with these guys because people just know them enough.
Yeah. I feel like there was the Muppet ABC show, which really had the whole cast of characters, and after that one, I think we felt like it was a way for us to tell more of a movie with the side characters that are just as iconic as Kermit, Fozzie, Piggy. I mean, everyone knows Janice, Animal, Dr. Teeth, and Zoot. And Lips was has really never even had many lines, even in the whole in the whole history. So that was really fun. And we also created new characters too.
Yeah, but it was fun. We sort of saw it as our Mandalorian, which is a way to play in this universe, in this sandbox, without being beholden to the Jedi,
right? And
Luke Skywalker, and all the characters.
That's Star Wars. Star Wars.
It's a given. Look, I'm the geeky area. Come on, please. So it just gave us a lot of freedom there. It was a blast to be able to play in the sandbox.
So you guys mentioned that there are a lot of cameos in this, and I know you spoke about this being a love letter to the side characters, the characters who've been on the side for such a long time. Can fans expect an occasional cameo from a well-known character? Like, will we see Kermit appear in a corner or any other old characters?
What are we allowed to say?
Well, the fact that we're not allowed to say that means
something.
Okay. But that's a worry. Was like when you see Muppets, you're expecting Kermit.
Yes.
And this is strictly about the band. And the only thing I could liken it to, which was a lot of the sell to Disney, was you have a Loki show. And I would argue that before the Marvel movies, nobody knew who Loki was. And now Loki is a huge piece of IP that has his own show and is in many movies. The Muppet characters are bigger than the Marvel characters in terms of awareness they're, you know, Spider-Man's iconic, but I would say Fozzie's iconic, just as iconic. So we really, our plan is to kind of, just like they're doing with these Marvel shows, about the different kind of groups of characters.
We're doing our own MCU.
Yeah.
It's the Muppets.
Muppets Cinematic Universe.
Here for it.
Yeah. So that's why we really focused in on the band, because we're, you know, I have a son in 9th grade, and he doesn't, I mean, he knows just because I've schooled him on all the movies, but his friends don't know the Muppets that well. So hopefully we're kind of like, yeah, here's your Iron Man movie. Welcome. And then we can keep going from there.
Are there any other characters that you would like to see get this treatment?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would love, personally, a Fozzie Bear stand-up. Like, because like stand-ups are funny, and you know, and just
put him in that
put him in that world. I mean, you could. I mean, think about it. You can take any, like, Swedish Chef could have a cooking show. Like, it's so.
Pigs in Space. I just want to do a Pigs in Space show.
Yes.
So put it alongside all the Star Wars shows that are on Disney Plus, and have another one, but it's a spoof of sci-fi shows. I think. Muppet, you know, Muppets are known for parodies.
I've been hearing this for 20 years.
This was the other one I pitched. No trailer. I never cut a trailer for it, so that's why.
Yeah.
So Jeff, you're a huge fan of Muppets, and now you have your own series. What's next? Like, you eye for another project, for another, like...
I'm gonna watch it. I mean, we're cutting now. I'm an editor, and now I get to sit behind the editor and make notes, and we're doing that. And yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's all dependent, like, on how the fans like this. I would love to do a second season with this band. There's more story to tell. I think we just sort of set up where they can go, literally and figuratively. And so that would ideally be next, is to continue.
Sorry, you mentioned on the panel, like, there's going to be original songs and there's also going to be cover songs. Can you talk a little bit about what went into the process of choosing the songs that got covered?
Well, so growing up, music was never played in my house. So my only reference of music is from my siblings and from summer camp. So I really don't know, like, I know Billy Joel and Queen. I love Weird Al. My music knowledge is very limited, whereas Jeff is Moog. He's an audiophile. He knows everything and collects vinyl, and so I really look to Jeff and Bill for that, because if it was up to me, they, you know, it would just be like they'd be singing Chicago.
But Adam's also the smartest writer I know, and he's like, look, for the story, we're going to have a music moment here, and that music has to do two things. It has to tell the story and give us emotion. And I'm like, oh, so that sort of narrows it down. And he would guide us there. Then we would give him suggestions. Like, okay, what if it's this song? And he's like, Billy Joel doesn't do that song. Okay, listen to this song.
Yeah.
And, you know, we'd audition songs. And he's like, okay, that's great. And that's making me feel something. And that would be perfect for this moment.
The band also has a certain sound.
Right.
And, like, they really, like, at the big, like at Hollywood Bowl, they did Have a Little Help from My Friends, which is like the perfect, like, just Dr. Teeth has that Joe Cocker's growl. So it's hard to, like, give them, you know, Disney naturally would be like, hey, is there a Justin Bieber song they can do or something? You know, and it's like, it's just not the band.
Yeah, so they're an old school band, you know, and the comedy of the shows, yes, is them juxtaposing, you know, coming face to face with modern music or the ways of making modern music, but they still have to play their music.
Yeah. So it is going to be like a 70s. The covers are very, like, playlisty, old school. And then the new songs also have that sound, but because, you know, because we're trying to keep the whole struggle of their show is like, what's their sound, right? Because they're an old school, they're a jam band. They're like Fish, you know, and is there a place for that kind of band today? So that's really their struggle. And what's their sound going to be? What's an updated Mayhem sound like? So that's a big thrust of our season.
The craziest thing is, you know, again, it's my first writing gig, and I also got to co-write a song.
Right, yeah.
So you guys are writing the songs?
Yep, we have songwriters.
Yeah, we have songwriters. Linda Perry did, I mean, again, I didn't really know who she was. So, and Jeff is like, we're working with a music god. Like, I say, hey, I know that one. That one. But she was, I mean, and she really was collaborative and was like, and Jeff found himself writing lyrics with her.
I can't. The nightmare for me is that I can't play an instrument. You know, I can't write music clearly, but I could write a poem. I could write lyrics. I know what songs should sound, and so like I was like, hey, this is a song for this moment. This is the sort of story it has to tell. Here's some ideas, and then she's like, so I wrote it. Like, what do you mean? I loved your lyrics. Your lyrics are great. Here's the song. I'm like, okay, and then cut to. The Muppets are now singing my song. And we're literally cutting to as we're editing this right now, and the Muppets are singing my song.
It's crazy.
And I was like, yeah, let's cut this part. I'm like, actually, let's leave it in.
Sorry, we just have time for one more quick question.
I think I read that there's like a road trip aspect to this show. Is that an homage to the original Muppets?
That will be our second season.
Ideally. There is an episode, certainly, where they go on a road trip.
There is a road trip kind of episode, but this, that's why we really see multiple seasons, because
this is their album.
And
then what do you do as a band with an album?
Tour. So
next season, ideally, is them on the road.
And that's smarter, just convincing Disney-wise, because we can't just
retread.
Well, no, just budget-wise, like to go like, we really have no sets. We're just out on the road, and they're like, we're not doing the show. But when it's a hit, you know, then they'll hopefully let us like do that.
Almost Famous.
Yeah, Almost Famous. Is that what you said? Yeah. I mean, again, when we were pitching it, it was Almost Famous meets the Muppets.
We just saw the musical, Almost Famous. It was great, and Cameron Crowe was there, and Jeff's like, should we say something? So we introduced ourselves. He was the nice man, but we were like, we pitched Almost Famous with Muppets. That's how we got this job.
He's like, I'm in. Let's do it. I'm like, no, but we're doing it. So we'd love to talk to you about it. So it's
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Can't wait to read it.